So with that, let's kick off a presentation here of our current topic. So welcome everybody to the August 7th, 2019, not meetup, meeting of the Phoenix 365 user group. So there's a lot in what I just said. We're transitioning away from Meetup to LinkedIn. I'll get into that a little bit. Also, there's a logo here that Catapult, my company, my marketing department made for me in 2014. When I tried to start that group, I'm going to see if I can get them to tweak it to be a little bit more aligned with what we are now. Okay. Let's start off with a thank you to sponsors, of course. Catapult Systems is the company that I work for, and they're providing this recording, the Skype for Business capabilities, and that'll be posted up to YouTube after the session. And then as soon as Microsoft Teams is more readily available for anybody and everybody to attend, whether you're part of the company or not, we're going to switch over to Microsoft Teams. We are using it at Catapult for our customers and clients. And it's my Teams experience has been far above and beyond my Skype experience in every aspect. So I'm excited. And if you didn't hear the announcement, Microsoft did announce that Skype for Business is going to be retired in 2021. So normally they say 3, 4, 5, 10 years out. They're moving things a little bit faster now. So they're encouraging everyone, you're going to be shifting to Teams. Skype for Business is going to sunset, right? They'll still have support for it and things like that, but you can expect to see less and less of it, is the idea. And then a big thank you to Drive Time, as always, for this room with its really fantastic setup. I'm sitting here on this podium with my Surface plugged into the mini display port, and I've got audio going through the room and sharing my screen on 2 big projectors, 2 nice high-quality TVs, and everybody would be able to see it wherever you're sitting. So it's good stuff, and we appreciate Drive Time for that. They, of course, always provide us with pizza, food, and drink, are very accommodating, and I don't do anything for them. I just say please, and they say sure, and it's kind of nice. So we're going to keep that going as long as we can. So this is my name's Eric Skaggs. If you don't already know me, that's that info. Please reach out to me via email, or if you're a Twitterer, you can tweet me at Skaggage. James is my middle name. That's what that's all about, is my college ID. The 5-character last name, EJ, Illinois State University. That was their format. So feel free to reach out to me about anything and everything related to this group, or anything we talk about, or just to say hello. And again, Melissa, sorry, this isn't, super fancy slide for you, but Melissa Hamilton's going to be speaking to us today about Teams, the ultimate guide to Teams adoption. Is that right?
Yeah.
And so she'll have her contact info on her deck. I didn't get a chance to put everything in here yet, so we'll get to that. Before we get Melissa up here speaking, though, let's talk about some of the local stuff / group stuff. There is no local stuff right now. Local stuff really being Phoenix. But I try to keep my eyes and ears out for recruiters who are hitting me on LinkedIn for job opportunities and things. I just don't have anything in particular at this time locally. So we'll go right into group news. For years we've been AZ SharePoint pros, and as of pretty much today, everything's been renamed to PHX 365. There's a few reasons for that. The main reason is we're not really a SharePoint specific user group anymore. We're a Phoenix user group that talks about Microsoft 365, Office 365. Didn't really want to put the word Microsoft in there or Office in there, so it gives us room to evolve. This is a more appropriate catch-all, I think. So everything you see about us now is PHX 365. Our Twitter handle is PHX 365. Our YouTube channel is PHX 365. It's a lot shorter to type than AZ SharePoint Pros. Okay, so And then, of course, the hashtag there's for mentioning on Twitter and social media as you like. I'm going to post this slide deck to LinkedIn. Okay. So I'll talk about that in a minute, but don't worry about trying to copy these links down. That's crazy. They're not fun. A lot of the form stuff in Microsoft Forms is in preview right now, but I'm going to post these out to LinkedIn as well. And I'm doing this to facilitate some feedback and communication that we usually don't have time for one-on-one. So if you want to speak or present at the group, there's a quick little survey for that. Send me your name, send me your info, send me your topic title and idea. I'll let you know when the next available slot is, and we'll get you scheduled. Okay. Other things in here, topic ideas and requests. We kind of typically will quickly talk about that stuff, and I'll write it down, and then it gets lost in the shuffle. Admittedly so. I have it in my notebook, but I think I left my notebook at home today. And then feedback on the venue, drive time, the space, it's great, but if there's something that's we can improve, or, we need different food options, or, you come here and there's not an accommodation that you would like or need, that's what that's for. Let us know. Okay. And a few other things here just to kind of talk more about the resources available to us and what we're using. We were using Meetup for a long time. Okay. When Eric Stoltz and Lester Sconyers stopped leading and organizing these sessions, they work for Nudesic, which is a local consulting firm. Nudesic agreed to sponsor the Meetup for another 6 months. Excuse me. And then after that subscription expired, I went ahead and renewed it myself because I didn't actually think of what platform we might change to at that point. So then that 6 months is up as of now, and I did not renew again. Okay. And the reason for that generally is, let's look at what were we using Meetup for and what gaps does it have. Our Meetup group contained over 450 members. We've never filled this room. Okay. So that's fine. Meetup lets you join and become a member of any group, and then whether or not you attend is, up to you. So as I'm sending out email communications, I'm blasting 400 some people who are actually opted into the announcements, right? So I'm emailing people a bunch that don't participate, or I know they're not interested, right? When they get the email, they delete it right away. It's fine. But we also used it for RSVP tracking. I could schedule an event, and it's nice that you could put it on your calendar and export it from Meetup, and it would be on your calendar and things like that. And you could RSVP to it. And I found what would happen is if I post an event early, like if I post next month's tomorrow, we'll get 30 RSVPs and like 5 people will show up, which that's just the nature of it. People see the announcement, they RSVP yes. A month later, they forget, right? So I'm still trying to find that window of time where it makes sense to post the event before the event. Obviously, yesterday I posted this one, so kind of last minute, not ideal. Maybe about a week or 2 would be good. So we'll adjust and adapt from there. But really, Meetup's not free. A while ago, and maybe this is me misremembering, but Meetup at one point was free if your group had fewer than 50 members. So light bulb for me was, okay, let's start a new group called PHX365 on Meetup, and it'll just be free. And I won't allow anyone to join. I'll make people ask to join, and then I'll approve them, and if they don't show up or they're not participating, I can remove them, and then that's somewhat more militaristic, and I didn't really like that. But turns out that's not an option now either. So Meetup's not free, like at all. So, okay. Not great, but it also, it used to allow uploading files. So our presentations from our sessions, I'd upload to Meetup because that's where you went to get the info about the event, put it on your calendar, RSVP, hey, there are the files for it, there are photos from the session. Meetup was kind of where everything was. Then they took away files. and it's just not a great platform for our purposes. So if you go out to the group now, it will say this group is going to close unless somebody steps up to be the organizer. If you want to do that, please let me know. You're welcome. Someone is welcome to do that if they choose to. I wouldn't advise it just because we're working on shifting, but I can certainly coordinate with somebody and figure out an effective way to do that. Okay. In the meantime, we're moving forward. The premise is the meetup group will die. It'll close, and that's that. We're going to be mainly on LinkedIn for our communications back and forth, as well as our posting events and so on. Basically, LinkedIn is the go-to now. Meetup no more. LinkedIn's the go-to. And then we also have Twitter, which is PHX365. You can find our LinkedIn group. It's PHX365. Our YouTube, we're PHX365. And if you want to reach out to me directly, please send me an email. Also, if you want to get email communications, so previously if you were on Meetup, I would email the list, right, from Meetup. I would just choose the radio button. Everybody who's opted in, and I would send an email, and it would handle it. Now I'm doing this all on my own. I've got my own list of contacts with emails, and I use Outlook.com, right? So I have my own personal list. So if you want to be on that list, please send me your email to that email. I've got a few of yours already. David, I've got yours, and Nikki, I've got yours. But please shoot me an email. Just say, hey, add me to the list. And for now, that's the way we're going to handle it. If you're not comfortable with it, totally fine. Let's figure something else out. But I'm also going to be working on some improvements in the future. Ideally, I don't know if what's ideal, but I'm looking for a platform of sorts that will satisfy our needs in a consolidated manner, so we don't have to go all over the place to all these different things to get all of our stuff. LinkedIn's great, but our videos are on YouTube. YouTube is made for videos, so that makes sense, but wouldn't it be nice if you could go to phx365.net and everything's there? So I'm going to work on seeing what I can do that'll do that as time goes on and as I have time. We're probably going to have these disparate systems for a while. Okay, and Twitter will likely never go away because Twitter's Twitter and it's its own thing. But ideally, combining the hosting of our files, communications, calendars for exporting to your calendar, videos and streaming those videos, if we could consolidate that all on a platform and do it for free, that's the key. I'm going to see what I can find in that realm. Okay. So again, I'm going to post this presentation to LinkedIn, and from there you can get to these links, so you don't have to worry about writing them down. But essentially, anywhere you go anymore, if you're on Twitter or you're out here on LinkedIn, do a search for PHX365. And this is our group. I think this group, I have approvals turned on, so you have to request to join. It's not just open to the public. I don't know if that's an option in here or not. I totally forget. But we've got 92 members currently. You can see on the upper right there.
Aaron, if you're a member in this, you still need to email to your Outlook?
So if you're a member of the group, I'm going to post everything to this group first and foremost always. So if you're a member of this group and paying attention to this group, I don't necessarily need your email address. But if you're not, frequently on LinkedIn, or you've got your LinkedIn notifications turned off and that kind of stuff, and you just want that extra white glove service from Mr. Skaggs, I'll send you an email direct. Okay? That's right. That's right. Limit of 50. First 50 get in free. And then, I would like to put together some consistent formatting for messaging out here on LinkedIn as well. I think there's some room for improvements on LinkedIn as a platform itself, but it's pretty decent. And well, and Meetup is one of those places. Meetup's almost like too public, I guess. LinkedIn is more, people are out here with their professional profiles. They're in professional spaces. They're not, nothing wrong with Meetup. It's just not working for us. So we're going to focus on LinkedIn. And then out here on YouTube, there's our PHX365 channel. So you can find us on YouTube the same way. Again, this link is actually in the deck. And then I'm working on something here that I think will add some value, at least make my life somewhat easier. I'm putting together a series of forms, questionnaires, if you will, in Microsoft Forms to solicit feedback and somewhat try to help centralize and collect some data from y'all. So these, I'm going to post these links to LinkedIn as well. Okay. But the general premise is, if you want to speak at this group, there's a form for that. If you want to provide feedback on the venue for drive time, or offer up suggestions on what we can do to improve food or change food, or the drink situation, what can we do to be more accommodating, there's a form for that. There's going to be an attendance form per meeting. Every month I'll just do a new one of those. I've put together a form here for suggestions, topic ideas. Like, this is your group as much as it is mine. I don't want to run it every time. I'll do the MC stuff, But if there's a topic of interest, fill out this form, and then this will sit there, and those ideas will just add up over time, and we can just go through and knock them out. It'll be helpful. And then what do we have here? So speaker submission, venue feedback. And I mean, I'm trying to make these as simplistic and short as they are. So if you're a speaker, who are you? What are you talking about? And then how can we get in touch with you? If you reach out to me and you want to speak, I will put you on the calendar. Done deal. Thank you for your service. Okay? Any questions on any of that stuff? Pretty straightforward. So I'm a developer and kind of a tech nerd, geek, whatever. I've been doing a lot with Azure, so I'm hoping that eventually we can just kind of have our own thing, where you go to phx365.net and there'll be some really simple navigation where you can get to whatever you want to get to, and if we have videos on YouTube, still fine, they'll be available on the site. If we have Twitter tweets out there on Twitter, okay, so what? They'll be available on our site as well. That kind of stuff. I'd like, a way to centralize. And I think from what I've seen, there's a general need in the industry for, I'm also a consultant, so I look at patterns. There seems to be a pattern where user groups need, there's a niche need for a user group platform to do what I'm talking about. So I'm going to see if I can cook something up and then sell it, right? So, okay, a few other things. More on the SharePoint front, but just as a reminder, there are some well-defined patterns and practices groups from Microsoft focusing on SharePoint, focusing on Power Apps, Flow, Office 365, all these things. They've got a series of calls, so there's some material in here about that. Again, starting as a SharePoint user group, we've got a lot of SharePoint-specific topics here. But documentation, videos, and issues, there's some links in here for that. And just some info on, this is a slide stolen from the PMP group when they do one of their calls. But it's kind of interesting. I can go into more detail on that for anyone who's interested. But with that, let me stop this recording. And we'll get Melissa up here to tell us all about Teams adoption.